This is really peak Infinite Jest in the sense that there is a section in Infinite Jest which is quite famous where Wallace kind of predicts video calls and the anxiety around appearing on camera. It's hilarious, but I don't want to spoil it because that's a little bit later. Okay, so let's see. Let's give it a few minutes, and let's see if who shows up, and we'll see. And in the meantime, oops, wait, this is a little weird. I'm gonna go to this Wallace quote, which I put on a prim up in the sky, and I can't rotate the camera. Here we go. All right, so for the YouTube people, they can read that quote and a little music. All right. That was a kind of an improvised little thing that I recorded last year. It's called Orin in a Jar. Okay. Welcome. Pauline Clary is here. Pauline is in World. Pauline, come over here. Good to see you. Why don't you sit here with me? There's a few chairs. So at least one person is in World. That's wonderful. And a few people are watching. Okay. So first of all, a brutal disclaimer. I mentioned in my initial announcement that I can only do this if there's a certain number of people committed to it. That the reason for that is simply that my life right now is very busy. I'm taking care of my elderly dad. I work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So time is very limited, and I'm also as much as I love discussing, especially this or literature, or especially this book, I have such a big plate of sort of my own reading to do, and I have become antisocial in the best sense of the word, I guess. The solitude really is healing. Pauline, I don't know if Pauline can hear me. Can people hear me at all? On the YouTubes? Hello, hello, hello? Oh yeah. Pauline, if you can hear me, why don't you come over here on the other side of the fence? Okay, so today, 30 years ago, Infinite Jest, written by David Foster Wallace, was published on February 1st, 1996. Oh, and let me also say, before I do a little introduction, this is not a lecture series of me lecturing you guys about this book. This is really supposed to be a reading group, and I'm defining it as a discussion group. Alcoholics Anonymous features prominently in the novel. So if you look at me like your sponsor, but you got to do the work, right? One day at a time. Um, so I'm not here to, open every week with a big lecture. I'm going to guide along. I'm going to ask questions. How are you guys doing? How was the reading? Questions, ideas, thoughts, what emotions came up, um, and so on. So I'm guiding this discussion, and I would love to have participation. The people on YouTube can uh, chime in with chat. I will read the chat out loud if people show up in World. I had a few people on Reddit that said, "Oh, cool! I haven't been in Second Life for many years. I'm going to come," and nobody showed up so far. That's fine. Um, the only requirement, and just like AA, I don't have any personal experience with AA. I just have experience reading the book. But AA means commitment, right, Pauline? So if you drop off, if you at some point go like, I can't do this, this novel does not speak to me in the way I anticipated, um, totally fine. But just like AA, I gotta tell you, uh, the novel is incredibly rewarding, but it is certainly a commitment. Um, I don't think the novel is complicated because it's so incredibly entertaining and cinematic. The complexity lies in following through with it, right? Being consistent with it, uh, keeping on reading. Maybe there's a little dry spell or some sort of character or some sort of confusion where you go like, what the hell is going on right now? I'm confused. I don't want to do this. So this is the challenge that Wallace put in very deliberately because he saw the world 30 years ago. 30 years ago, he saw the world that we live in with this complete erosion of attention span, the ability to focus, the ability to um, stick with one thing and concentrate and also absorb stuff of a little challenge versus just constant entertainment and flipping through. Wallace, of course, did not live in an era of phones or AI for that matter. I mean, now that I'm reading the novel, I'm thinking of AI all the time. But he basically saw at the time television as the big television entertainment as that addictive element that will just separate us from ourselves. Um, Now, of course, we have endless scrolling and stuff. So now, uh, I would like to open the floor to the people. There are five people watching on YouTube. If you could introduce yourself, first name or whatever, and just a sentence or so. Why are you here? Why are you interested in this book? Somebody's coming in. Ashanta McLeod. Cool. Ashanta, please have a seat. I got to make sure that voice is actually on. Yes. Um, so, Pauline, I know your name. Ashanta, hello. We're doing this in voice or in chat, completely up to you. So, let's start with what's your name and why are you here? Why is this intriguing to you, this book? And while people are collecting their thoughts, I'm just going to say that what I find fascinating is I read this book when I was 47. I'm 55 right now. I read it 3 times, but I read it very late in the game. And then I was so obsessed with it, and I went on Reddit. I've never been on Reddit before. I went on Reddit and I met so many people in their 20s who read this book. And this gave me tremendous hope because these were people in a deep, often in a deep crisis of I don't know. I want to say who's not in a crisis in their 20s. I certainly was. And they read this, they picked up this book, and they found incredible empathy in this book. Wallace is just putting this empathy on the page. Um, and so it was fascinating to me as a latecomer to meet all these people, or interact with all these younger people, the age of my son, who really worked through this book and came out better the other end. All right, so let's see here. Pauline, you just said, I'm curious for the book because you're so enthusiastic about it. Thank you, Pauline. So that means, I guess you trust me. You trust my recommendations. I'm your personal recommendation engine, right? Pauline is not going to AI or Amazon, and then Amazon says, "Oh, hi, Pauline, you like this book, so you will like this one." Pauline goes straight to Dragster and says, "Dragster, Ashanta, the name is Petra in real life, so you know." Oh, Ashanta, I know a Petra. A different avatar name. Hello, Petra. So everybody has the book, and you haven't read it yet. Well, that's good. I see Dex just came. I know that Dex has read it. I'm not sure if he's read it completely, but maybe just partially. So, is there anybody on YouTube? Is there anybody on YouTube? There's people watching on YouTube. Please let me know who you are and why are you here? Because again, I'm going to be brutal about this just because my time is so occupied and I love doing this, but if we get a small crowd, we have to do a different mode. So, two more things now, and I'm going to put this out. Dex, hey, Dex, come over here. Sit with us, please. Um Dex likes to sit on the bleachers. So, now the other thing, so we got Dex and Pauline on YouTube, so we have three people who are anonymous, or two. Um, Now my big question to you guys is this. I am a fast reader. I am not an advocate for fast reading in the sense of, like, there's booktubers who go like, hey, I read 200 books a year and here's how you do it. So this is not a competition. What I mean by fast reading is more that I have switched to reading one book at a time, right? I used to read parallel, but I've found that for me, reading one book at a time makes more sense. Now, initially, when I put this out there, I said, let's do 5 pages a day on average, because again, this is challenging stuff and it is so deep that it makes sense to reflect on what you read here with Infinite Jest. It does not make sense to just plow through it. Although people recommend always read stuff twice, plow through it the first time, and then the second time, read very slowly, take lots of notes. My concrete question to you guys is, the 5 pages a day to me seems very uh very little. I think we could do more, but then I don't want to drive the ship in the sense that I put pressure on everybody like a school teacher would, because then it completely defeats the purpose. Purpose being having fun, having infinite fun. Or Dex, maybe in Polish, you want to chime in what infinite fun means in Polish? Uh, so yeah, so my question is, what does everybody feel comfortable reading? Um, and the 5 pages a day is a rough estimate. I will determine. I have the book right here, so I will determine an endpoint, or kind of like a, you know a reason, a something that makes sense where we ended, where there's a chapter ending, or switch to a different character. There's thousands of characters in this book. um it's, but don't worry about it. I'm scaring people when people are going to log off. um so I will look ahead, and for example, today I found that page 27 is a good ending, because it switches to something completely different, kind of a flashback. And But if people confidently, 20 pages a week, yeah. So, five, we have to, well, 5 a day would be 25 if you don't read on the weekend, uh, which I do, then it would be 25, 30, 35. So roughly between 25 and 35 pages, translating to about 5 pages a day. And if that is okay with everyone, right? The question is, if you feel, and we can also change this, because when we do it at this pace, we will be occupied until the end of the year. I will obviously read ahead, but I will be prepared uh, with the sections that we are discussing. I recommend, and maybe I shouldn't recommend, because I think people will notice when they notice how much fun this is that they will not be able to stop. I mean, the funny thing is about this book, which is many things, but a sort of a diagnosis, critique, satire of modern the vapidity and the emptiness, spiritual emptiness of modern life, which Wallace diagnosed. The the reason being addiction to entertainment. The novel itself is so addictive. With I mean, I'm belaboring the point here. Uh, that is probably the biggest achievement, that he set out to say, hey, there's something wrong in our culture. We're losing ourselves. We're losing ourselves in just consuming incessant amounts of entertainment. Again, 30 years ago is nothing compared to today. It's gotten way worse. And then Wallace created a world and a novel of 1,000 pages and 300 pages of footnotes that is equally um, addictive, but in a good way, because it will rewire your brain and it will make you reflect on what's happening to you and maybe the society at large. So we stick with this for now, and then we'll see where we're going, I guess. Right? Sticking with the 5 pages. Has anybody started yet? Dex, have you finished, or are you in the middle, or are you here to reread? Because rereading is, I mean, I will give anybody $100, not Linden dollars. Oh my God, Dex, the hospital with Gately. Don't say anymore. Gately is interacting with somebody who has no body. Is that correct? Somebody who speaks to him? Ooh, my God. This is intense where Dex is. This is towards the end. This is where the end is coming. Um, Ashanta is on the first few pages. Ashanta Petra. Then I would say we will read until page 27 and discuss that next time. Again, okay. Good. Pauline has the Kindle version. Take lots of notes, Pauline. Highlighter. The highlighter is your friend. Um, I have an electronic version. I read on paper, but the electronic version is, of course, good because you can look up names and, then you can cross-reference stuff. Ashanta, do you know, you read the first few pages. Ashanta, quick question. Do you know what's going on? Do you know where you are? I mean, I know you know where you are right now. You're in Second Life. Um, but do you know where what's happening, kind of? Dex has, yeah, it's 1,600 pages for the Polish version. That's crazy. There's actually also an audiobook version. I don't recommend this as an audiobook, to be honest, because it's so. I mean, if you have a paper book at the same time, I think that's good. But audio, it just requires. I think it requires solitude. You cannot. You have to put yourself in a room with no phone, with no screen. Um, okay, Ashanta, Petra. Then today is the starting day. No leafing through. Concentrated, very slow reading. It is medicine. It is the best tasting medicine on the planet, this book. Okay? I know people go like, why would I read something that Drexler says is medicine? I'm not sick. We're all sick. Okay? Pauline says 23rd Dutch translation. Fantastic. I had no idea. Well, I did because you told me, Pauline, but the Dutch version, I got to buy that. I have every version except the Chinese translation and the Finnish translation. The Polish print edition has the best cover. Eindelos Vertier. Oh my God. Eindelos Vertier. Petra, you're from the Netherlands. Maybe that will be something. I mean, I have read the German translation. It's amazing, and we had, of course, here the international translators for a talk from Serbia, um, from Iran, Germany, and from Greece. It was amazing. These people worked 10 years on it. Yeah. Then I guess, Pauline, you're fine with the pacing. Any questions? Pauline is pasting the link. I'm gonna pre-order it right now. Let me look at the cover. Ah, cover is okay. They had that cloud cover. Let me pan here the camera. 50 euros is a steep price, but it is a big book, and it takes a lot of money to find a very good translator to translate it. So I think we need to support. I know. I mean, it's a lot of money, but we also need to support literature because literature is dying. Everything is dying, and we don't want to live in a world of AI slop. And I think Wallace saw it coming. Again, when I read it today, I'm thinking of AI. Um, and this is the antidote to this techno-fascism, this book, or what he was in the subtext trying to say about culture. He tried to say many things. Um, I'm panning in Second Life. I'm panning in the back here. You guys see it. Those are fan-made covers. I think they're amazing. The official cover is fine. I mean, now it's iconic with the sky. There's nothing wrong with it. Um, and there's a few other editions with good covers, but there is so many amazing fan-made covers out there. Yeah, then I would say we can keep it short and we can wrap it, but please consider using voice for the discussion. We have a few people that emailed me last minute; they couldn't make it. Tom Bölsdorf, who people may know. I hope that he can make it next time. And also the Serbian translator Igor Jivanovic said he is kind of up for it if he finds the time. So we can pick his brain. But again, this is not a academic exercise of dissecting. If you go to academia.edu, you will find thousands of scholarly articles about this book. And I mean, I'm such a nerd. I read some of them and it's fun, but this is something different. Again, this is like I'm your sponsor. I'm your you guys are the addicts and I'm the master addict and I'm going to help you along. I'm going to help you stay focused and help you through the dry spells that may or may not occur. Okay? Oh, yeah, questions. Think of questions. One question that usually comes up, actually, a good friend of mine from way back visited me recently in real life, and I gave him the book for Christmas, and he's into it. And I don't know if he asked me, but somebody did ask me about the footnotes. This is a question that comes up on Reddit all the time. If you guys are on Reddit, you should go to the Infinite Jest Reddit. Uh, Friendly bunch, lots of different people, noobs, experienced people. Um, the question that comes up, should I read the footnotes? Okay, so you flip through the pages, you read, and then here is a footnote. Should you go back to the footnotes? There is one reason and many reasons that other reasons. One main reason and some other reasons why Wallace decided on this structure with these footnotes, and they serve a meta purpose, right? Because the book again is about distraction, entertainment, the self. Who are we? Why can't we, form an identity that is based on our own um, uh, core? Uh, or what is the core? How do we find the core? How do we stay focused to and reflect on what we want? And so the flipping back and forth with the footnotes is fascinating because it is distracting, but it's also illuminating. And so Wallace put that in. This is my take. You can read on Reddit or these academic articles what the purpose was. But to me, I think that what he had in mind was here to simulate that life of constant distraction. Oh, here's a footnote. Shit, should I check it? Oh yeah, let's check it. Oh my God, that footnote is crazy. Oh, and then you lose your train of thought. Oh, where was I? And you go back. So he adds these challenges very, very deliberately. Now, when you reread this, so my recommendation, if you'd ask me, should I read these footnotes? I would say it depends on your reading, quote unquote, skills. If you're an experienced reader, if you are familiar with philosophical texts, dense texts, Russian literature, for instance, War and Peace, things of that nature, I would say go for it. But you don't have to. The first time round, maybe just completely ignore all the footnotes because I guarantee you, you will have so much fun that you will want to reread this book. And when you reread it, then you can do the footnotes. And the footnotes will add flavor. They will add complexity. They will add even more fun. For example, one of the main characters in the book centers around a very dysfunctional family, the Incandenzas. And the head of the family, James O. Incandenza, I'm zooming here in Second Life to a drawing. James O. Incandenza is, among other things, a filmmaker. And so one of the first footnotes in the book, when he is introduced in the narrative, and I think that footnote is like, Dex, you tell me, it's like 50 pages or something. Right. He's an avant-garde filmmaker. He's not some Hollywood mainstream Marvel Universe type stuff. He rejects that shit. He is avant-garde. And one of the first footnotes is basically his fictional the fictional, because he's a fictional character, his filmography. And it is hilarious. And I'm telling you, I mean, the filmography alone is worth the price of 50 euros, to be honest. I'm zooming here. Uh, if you look on the other side, behind the bleachers, we put up some fan made posters of some of his films. So there's a film that he made called Blood Sister, One Tough Nun. Then there is a film, Baby Pictures of Famous Dictators. And then my favorite film, Various Small Flames. So this is the satirical tone of this book. I mean, it is so hilarious. You will laugh out loud. Don't read it in the subway. Or maybe do, and then everybody who scrolls on their phones, doom scrolls, will look at you like, "Oh, you're crazy," and then they go back to doom scrolling. Meanwhile, they're the crazy ones. So, uh, this in terms of the footnotes. So use the footnotes at your own peril, but you'll be perfectly fine understanding what's going on, and you will find it perfectly pleasurable to read this if you skip the footnotes for now. It's completely. The Dragster allows you to skip the footnotes. Okay? Okay. So, any more questions? Questions, concerns? Hold on, a friend just emailed me. No questions. No questions, Petra. Are you sure? Why these guys hate statistics? Wait, is that a film? I think Dex has quietly become a bigger infinite jest expert than even me. Dex is stumping me at times with his knowledge. This Dex, please elaborate on what you just said there. Oh, orthostice. Okay. Dex is in the weeds. All right. Um, Pauline is typing. So let that be maybe the last question. Dex, do you have any questions? Oh no, Pauline. No, 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 no. This is the initial meeting where we discuss the modus operandi. No, 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 no. The goal for next week, and I I haven't concretely said so, but I will do so now. For next week, we will read until page 27, and I'm sure there will be questions. We will read until page 27. The chapters have very weird names. Sometimes they're named after, um, they have a date and a year, and the year is very strange, and you get what it means. I don't want to spoil it. Well, maybe I should say the years are basically sponsored by products, right? So we will read until year of the Tux medicated pad. That's on page 27 of half of the page. So I hope, Pauline, the Kindle, I'm not familiar with the Kindle actually. I have an ebook reader. Um, I don't know if that conforms to it, but basically for you, Pauline, or people in general who have an ebook, we read until the chapter that is called 1 April, year of the Tux medicated pad. Okay? So that's where we'll end. Um, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It concerns me that Petra doesn't have any questions. Very insecure teacher, Petra. But I don't want to be a teacher. It's like my mom was a teacher, and she would say, "Okay, if nobody has a question, that means nobody's paying attention." But again, this is not school. We're not in school. The year of glad. Ah, okay, great, exactly. So the year of glad, and then there's something in between, I think. Year of the dependent adult undergarment. There you go, exactly. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of different chapters. and they all refer to these years. Um, Year of the Dependent Adult Undergarment. When this book was written in 1996, one thing that I could say, it's not a real spoiler. He Wallace was depicting a future, and there is a lot of information on Reddit and other places. If you just Google Infinite Jest year naming convention or whatever, they will tell you what the years are. And there's very cool fan art also, um, because the book jumps back and forwards in time. This is really crucial, but you will get it at some point. In the beginning, it might be confusing, but you will get it. I guarantee you that, and it's actually very very that is will really hit you, like where you will go, whoa, this is better than any cliffhanger or reveal or of any Netflix series or any series, which I'm not going to name any because I don't watch any of them. What Wallace created here with these different years, once you realize, oh my God, this happened before this other thing, it will blow your mind from a plot perspective. So, in addition to the fun and the philosophical content, the underlying plot, it's almost like a thriller plot, slightly sci-fi thriller. It's just insane. Okay, so my friend Roland just emailed me. He is a little under the weather, but I sent him the YouTube link. And then lastly, I put this in the YouTube chat. There's a link. Let me put that here, dragster.com/infinite, where I put basically, and it's not linked to my website, so when you go to dragster.com, you won't see it. But if you go directly here, dragster.com/infinite, it's basically a blog on my Squarespace site. And I'm going to just summarize where we're at or what the goals are. So after we get off this meeting, I will put in there that we decided to read until page 27. And so this would be the place to go where I will update our goals. And then when the meeting happens and the discussion happens, I will kind of summarize the discussion, maybe some bullet points, and also link the YouTube recording. So this is sort of the repository. And anybody can also comment there. It's just like a blog with open comments. So if you have any comments that come later, you can comment there, and then that will lead us through this entire journey, and we have a record of it. Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that we have a record of. I mean, there's been a lot of different projects over the last 30 years. There's like a thing called Infinite Summer. I think it's infinitesummer.com. Even several universities have done reading groups, and there's a bunch of podcasts. On my initial announcement, I also mentioned the Mapping the Zone podcast. They're doing a special once a month. They're doing Thomas Pynchon stuff usually, but they added a Infinite Jest thing. So dragster.com/infinite will be our place to have everything in one place. And you can of course reach me in the interim through email or Second Life. Yeah, and the people on YouTube still haven't identified themselves. I know it's Pauline and Dex, and it's me monitoring it, but there's still 3 people on YouTube. Who are you? Why are you watching this? What's wrong with you? Why are you not watching? I don't know. I don't know what people watch. Yeah, Petra, because that we can look back at it, and you always if you miss a meeting or something, or if you don't know, oh, what was the assignment? I'm using again a term, a school term. this is not school. Unless school was fun for you, it wasn't for me. Um, that's right, Dex. YouTube recommended it to them, like, oh, look, here's a bunch of crazy losers in Second Life who talk about a book that is 1,000 pages. Oh my God, look at them losers. Uh, Meanwhile, we're the winners. We're the winners because we realize we need to decolonize our brain. We need to engage with literature more than ever. We need to engage and we need to converse about it. Um, uh, I I feel I keep saying the same thing because I, I think apart from this just crazy plot, the crazy setup, the fact that Wallace was able to put empathy for really, really damaged is a bad word. For people who are struggling on the page, that he was able, and in good literature, other writers have done that, but I I don't know if there's anybody like Wallace. And on the Second Life Book Club, I interviewed a lot of very accomplished writers, and they all reference, among other people, Wallace as just the master of creating characters who are so complex uh, and maybe not likable, but you will find something of yourself in in every one of these characters, and you will understand and empathize with what they're going through. The main characters, of course, Dex is with Don Gately, who's kind of a small-time criminal, in recovery, drug addict. He was in jail. He got like he's out and he has to do this drug rehab. And I mean, there are some people who Lens comes to mind as a character who does not like cats. So, oh, I should do a trigger warning. I forgot about the trigger warning. Suicide, dysfunctional families, drug addiction, psychosis, uh, all that stuff. Animal cruelty, um, making fun of disabled people. There's a lot of stuff, and none of it is gratuitous. Everything makes sense. Everything is real. Everything is uh, making you empathize or at least come closer to your own humanity. But if you have a problem with some of these issues, uh, reader discretion is advised. Having said that, again, this is my interaction with Reddit when I came across this book at my when I was 47 years old, and then I go on Reddit and I meet all these people who are in their 20s, and they're very frank about it. They said I had I had severe problems with depression. I was hospitalized. I was on meds, and then maybe people would say, well, if you are struggling with mental health, maybe you shouldn't read a big novel where everybody struggles with their mental health. But the fact is, these people did, and these people I met on Reddit, they said this helped heal me, being confronted with these fictional non-existing characters, because I felt understood. I felt here is somebody who writes about this shit and he understands me. And so that's the thing. On the other hand, I gave this book to a good friend of mine from high school, and she had some mental health problems. She was hospitalized and she was on medication. And I, in my infinite wisdom, gave her a copy of this book for her, was it 50th birthday? And she was kind of furious with me Why? Because one of the main characters is a woman by the name of Madame Psychosis. I'm zooming into this fan art here. She wears a veil and she has this midnight radio show. And my friend who I gave this book to on her birthday said, "You got to read this. This is so awesome. There's like a character. She has a talk show, and her name is Madame Psychosis." And she got so pissed off. She said, "Do you even know what's going on with me? I have, I just got out of the hospital. I'm still on antidepressants, and you're telling me it's fun to read about this shit." And so I'm telling you this because it goes both ways. It goes both ways. I can completely understand why, if you're struggling with any of the topics that are prominent in this book, that you don't want to engage with them. Maybe you want escapism. I've been saying this on the book club many times. There's nothing wrong with so-called escapism if that recharges your batteries. But in a sense, Infinite Jest can also be seen as escapism because it's so hilarious. I mean, there's the guy, Dex, you know him. God, what's his name? The guy who levitates in the locker rooms, and you have to lick his forehead. Uh, no, sorry, he licks the forehead of the Lyle. See, Dex is a walking Infinite Jest dictionary. This is very impressive, Dex. I'm very impressed. God, couldn't think of the name Lyle. So, um, yeah, there we are. Then I'll think we'll close here, and I started with the Zoom. If you look up, if you're in Second Life and you look up, you see this Wallace quote that he gave in an interview. There's a great Wallace interview from German television from 2003, but this is a Wallace quote that is basically a screensaver on one of my screens. Wallace said, "Because the technology is just going to get better and better and better and better, and it's going to get easier and easier and more convenient and more pleasurable to be alone with images on a screen given to us by people who do not love us but want our money, which is all right in low doses, right? But if that's the basic main staple of your diet, you're going to die. In a meaningful way, you're going to die." And so that is a very profound quote by Wallace. There's many quotes, but this quote I think is very profound in many ways. Well, on the face of it, this is exactly the world we live in right now. But also, this you will see when we start reading that this refers to one of the major sort of conceits in the narrative. Okay, nobody on YouTube wants to identify themselves. That's fine. I'm gonna quit. And oh, I forgot one thing. We'll do these meetings in a. We have to do it in a tight fashion. Oh, did Pauline say something about the triggers? Let's see here. Pauline said, "I've been active in SL for a long time, so I'm pretty much immune to most triggers." That is pretty good. Pauline, with your permission, I'm gonna put this on a t-shirt. That is pretty good. That is good. That's right, Pauline. I mean, SL really prepares you for everything. Even for Infinite Jest. Wallace did not see that coming. I mean, yeah. So yeah, this is really the theme of the book. That's why this book is so incredibly relevant. And I'm so excited about this Dutch version. Damn it, I'm gonna order it right now. And then my wife is like, "What the hell? Why do you need the book in another language that you don't understand?" I was like, "Maybe I'll learn it someday." And then Dex is gonna email me, "Well, you said you're gonna learn Polish." Um, where was I? Oh yeah, I was gonna say we will keep these meetings. I have to bail at 90 minutes is my max time that I can commit because of these other commitments. But that does not mean you have to leave. I hope that this will um, trigger, a group feeling where you maybe stick around and you continue to talk about, but I'm gonna quit. I have to quit on the dot or before the dot because I'm taking care of my dad and I'm doing all these other things. So please be prepared. Do that so it's going to be between 60 minutes and 90 minutes absolute tops. You learn you have some triggers you didn't know about, Dex. Yes. All right. Then have a good day, y'all. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna log off, and in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'll put a post on the dragster.com/infinite. So in about a half hour, the latest, you'll have that. So I'm just going to put the reading assignment, if you will, and then that's going to be our place to go. Dragster.com/infinite. Pauline, Petra. If I call you Petra Ashanta, then you have to change your display name. Otherwise, I'll get confused. I mean, I can barely keep track of the characters in Infinite Jest, as you noticed. We need Dex. Dex remembered Lyle. Okay, Ashanta. Ashanti, Shanti. I'm doing yoga now. Okay. So excited. Very excited. We're 3 people with a dog and me, so that's 5. So the requirement is set. Although the people on YouTube are not responding. Shame on them. But Tom Bölstoff might show up next time. Okay. Oh, very last thing. Don't here in the second life space, in our little fake set. As you can see, I'm zooming out. This is just a floating little island here. Here is one display that you should not read. And it says, what happens at the end of Infinite Jest, or the Infinite Jest ending explained. Okay, ignore it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. This is from Aaron Schwartz's blog. People don't know who Aaron Schwartz is. Please find out who he was. He was an amazing human being. Aaron Schwartz did many, many amazing things, and he's no longer with us. He was killed by a brutal system. But Aaron Schwartz figured out the ending. So I put half of this blog post on that prim over there. So don't look at it. Yeah, I mean, Tom emailed me when I put the blog post out, the initial announcement that we're going to do this last year. He said like, oh, I always wanted to read it. Maybe that gives me sort of the structure. Yeah. Okay, guys. Then have a good one. I'm going to quit. Oh, and people, I just zoomed in on that prim with the, yeah. Okay. Well, let's spend the evening with a good avant-garde movie by James Incandenza. How about Various Small Flames? Bye-bye, everybody.